Hey everybody! Welcome to the Wagon. This week we have Johnny Ott. He is the frontman for the Cryptkeeper Five, and he's a good friend of mine. It's weird because I was a fan of Cryptkeeper Five and then started playing shows with them and became friends with them, so it's kind of weird to be a fan of somebody and then be friends with them. It's pretty cool, actually. But our conversation is pretty cool. I look up to him a lot. He's one of the most talented artists. I mean, typically like rock and roll, punk rock, any kind of shit. I feel cunty saying, somebody's an artist. But this dude is seriously an artist. Great writer with his lyrics, great songwriter with the melodies and guitar stuff, and then he also can draw and do all kinds of other shit. So I admire him. And again, I gotta apologize. The first 4.5 to 5 minutes of our conversation, the dryer and the heat was on, and there's a vent that blows like right over this setup in my basement where I'm doing this podcast, and I forgot to turn them off, and then I remembered to turn them off during our conversation. So again, I apologize, but it's a really great conversation. He's definitely somebody to listen to, especially if you're curious about ever playing music and learning about what it's like to write a song or start in a band and be in one for a long time. He's a great person to listen to. Here is Johnny Ott. Yeah, but your vocal tracks...
They're still not as good as I think they are. I'm listening, I'm like, fuck
respectfully
me.
disagree.
Well, I think they're like, I'm putting them down now, listening back, I'm like, oh, I gotta do them all over again. It's like a lot of that.
And what date are you going with Sean?
January 18th.
Yeah.
And
that's when you're going to demo the 19 songs?
Yeah, we're just going to do live demo.
Cool.
Like, go in, probably play everything live. I think we'll probably get done with them in, like, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, and then go in, do my vocals, and then throw any backing ideas down. Just try to get everything done in one day. 10 hours.
Okay.
10 hours, 98 songs, and then just walk out and be able to listen to it and have him listen to it and figure out which songs are... Should we move this?
Yeah, it's actually
good?
recording.
Okay.
Though, I did forget to do the dryer. I gotta turn that shit off.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Cause that shit...
Picks up. Yeah.
It will vibrate in the background.
Yeah.
And then it's like, the fuck, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, and it's not. And I just want to make sure my mic's not spiking, which it's not.
Good. But
yeah. So you got Split with the Van Sabers coming up.
Hopefully, like it's in the plans, and we started learning one of the two that we're going to be doing, and we just got to learn the others, and it's like the end of the year, so it's kind of busy. But
it's tough to get anything done this time.
Right, it is.
I was just looking at my calendar, trying to shoehorn, like even trying to get you here today. Like,
right.
And then Friday, I'm going to meet with Jamie from Alpha Rabbit.
Oh yeah, she's great.
And I'm like trying to get Ryan from Philly. He was in Trash Cats, Side Pocket Louie.
Okay. Yep.
It's just tough.
It is.
I got to go out to Philly for that one.
Yeah, well, I don't mind coming here. I actually I like them. Actually, we're getting copies made right around the corner with Bailey.
Oh yeah.
So I'm stopping there on the way home.
I haven't been to their new shop yet.
It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, my buddy did the heating and air conditioning in there.
Oh yeah.
But so I just saw that room because I stopped over to bust his balls.
Yeah.
But dude, Wes was working there. I think he left.
Oh, the dude Wes ain't there no more?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Bailey. Bailey's he recorded all the early Cryptkeeper stuff, though.
Yeah, he recorded everything from 1997 to like 2002.
He's a fucking wacky dude.
He was a wacky dude.
I
I met him when I was 16, when my first band went in.
What was your first band?
Novelistic Death.
Okay.
And we recorded 5 albums there. And I was 16 when I first went in there. And we did our first, I think it was like 12 songs. We did it in 27 hours. We just went in, recorded. It sounded like total shit. We thought it was magic, but...
Isn't that weird when you record something and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever. I finally can hear my shit.
We are totally going to get signed from this, but now I go back and listen to it. Like the bass was out of tune on this, and I sound like the Cookie Monster. My voice honestly sounded like the Cookie Monster on the first album. What were you going for? I was going for Danzig,
Okay.
But you're like a 17-year-old kid trying to sound like Danzig. And
trying to force it,
not knowing how to sing at all so everything kind of sounded like this. And if you listen to the first album,
have you seen the Misfits on their tour now?
I saw them. I can't remember when it was. Back like about a year ago, maybe in Newark.
Oh, New York.
Yeah, Newark.
Newark. Yeah, I was at that show.
Yeah, so I saw that.
Everybody said that show sounded like shit. I thought it was fine.
Where were you? Were you in the pit?
Oh, no, I was up.
See, I was in the pit, so I could heur everything coming off of their amps still. Like, I was pretty close.
Was it terrible?
No, I liked it. I thought, well, because you're younger than me. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Yeah, so I'm 43. So the Misfits broke up in, like, 83. And I started listening to them probably, like, in 89. Mm-hmm. So 6 years after.
And that was pre-Michael Graves.
Pre-Michael Graves. Like I got into.
How'd you discover them?
I got into Danzig.
Okay.
Because he put out the first 4 records, which I think are magic. They're great. He did all them with Rick Rubin.
Yes.
The same lineup with Chuck Biscuits on drums, and John Christ on guitar, and Eerie Vaughn on bass, who'd been with him in Sam Hain, and also he was a photographer for the Misfits. So I got really, really, always wanted to see the Misfits. So for the longest time, I was like, man, I would totally pay, anything I can just to see the Misfits play. And then, God, 30 years later, they come back out. So I had to see them. And I'm glad I saw them, but I don't have to see them more than once. It was enough.
Yeah.
I do wish I saw the other lineup, though. Or the other... they just played with Rancid.
They did Rancid in Madison Square Garden.
That's the one I saw. I wish I saw.
Yeah, me too.
Because I would love to see Rancid and the Damned. I don't give 2 dicks. I don't give 2 dicks about, Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law and what was the other one? Suicidal
Tendencies.
I was never a big Suicidal guy.
I like Suicidal and Lights Camera Revolution, but I saw Suicidal play. Jeez, this between 92 or 94. I don't remember when, but I saw Suicidal play. They opened up for Danzig, and Danzig opened up for Metallica.
Okay.
So I saw them all, pretty much in their heyday. Metallica had just put out the Black Album, so everything they played was, everything before the Black Album and a little bit of Black Album. And Danzig hadn't even put out Danzig 4, so he couldn't have played any of the bad songs that he put. I think Danzig is good up till Danzig 4. I don't like anything he's done after. After he left Rick Rubin, after he left his band, he started a new band. And then, Suicidal were still really cool. Me and Jimmy met Mike Murr at that show.
Oh, cool.
He was just walking through the crowd after. It was pretty wild. Really? We saw him play, and they did their thing, and then we saw Danzig play, and then when Metallica went on, me and Jimmy, I started running, jumped inside this box that must have been a box for, really rich people. So we jumped in there, and we saw Metallica from this, perfect spot, and...
Dude, we were just driving home yesterday, playing all the Lars Ulrich fails.
He's got a lot of fails.
Dude, and then we were listening to this, a drum teacher narrate that video.
Oh.
Like watch it, and then he would pause and comment and be like, all right, what the fuck?
No, I understand like what everyone talks about, like him not being the greatest metal drummer, but like some of the earlier stuff, like
The first 4 records are pretty.
and I gotta be honest, like I like the fact that he isn't like crazy drummer. Like I like the fact that like he was kind of he's a little more simple. Like and for me, like you know, like my favorite drummers, you know, were always ones that played to the song. And I get it, he could have done a lot more, but I don't know. I think his personality is what people started to hate about him, and then they started to nitpick his drumming.
Yeah, well, and also just with the internet and YouTube and everything, everybody's got a camera on them at all times.
Right. Yep.
So you can get it now. And the fact, too, how much is a ticket to go see Metallica?
Right. Well, also, I think everyone started hating Lars totally when Napster, and they just started hating him, and then they just realized how much of a douche he was. And he is kind of a douche, you know?
He's
like
totally a douche.
Yeah, they're all kind of... Like, dude, if you ever watch that, like, making some kind of a monster or whatever...
Yeah, some kind of monster.
There's some, like,
I'll never...
The biggest crybaby group of dudes. Like, you guys are getting paid millions of dollars to play music, and you guys fucking... Like, I won't record unless it's a 4-hour clip. You know, like, 4 hours... Like, once you're into 4 hours is when you start, like, getting, like, all your best shit going. Like, they're just babies. Like, and, you know... And getting paid, like, more money than, like... Jesus Christ, like, so much money.
Yeah.
Just fucking suck it up for the money. I don't know.
That's why, like, when I see him do so bad on these fails, it's not flubs, because everybody flubs live.
Sure. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
But there's some clips of him where it's like, it's almost as if he didn't prepare.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, dude, when somebody has to pay for a babysitter for their kids and invested...
Sure.
Maybe some of these people invest in hotels for the weekend, like they make a weekend out of it.
Yep, especially for the big bands like Metallica. You know, like
So that's where it's like, dude, fucking, this is your job. Do your job right.
Do your job.
Like if people get upset if I do my job badly, then they should get upset if I do my job badly.
Well, that's why I stopped drinking when we were playing. Like, like.
How long have you been doing shows without drinking?
I mean, I still drink. But I don't get drunk.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. We were a 7-piece band. We played McGuinn's. I blacked out. Completely blacked out.
How long ago? Because when I remember seeing you at McGuinn's, I really fucked up my knee that night because I was drinking like a fucking... I was drinking like a fish that night. But I think it was just a 5-piece when I saw you guys.
Yeah, it was probably like 10 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm really bad at remembering like well, we were still a 7-piece band when we put out the double album. So it was like the double album was like
it was 2006, right?
Yeah, 13 years ago. So it's probably like 12 years ago when I stopped getting drunk before, you know. But those nights were also like we were playing like 3 sets a night. We were playing for like 4 hours. Like we would play for an hour. We would take a 15-minute break. We would play for an hour. Take a 15-minute play for an hour.
So towards the end of the set, you would probably like feel it more like, whoa.
Well, I mean, you get off stage and you have a few drinks, and some of your friends come up. Hey man, I bought you a shot. And like you do a shot. Hey man, I bought you this car bomb. You do a car bomb. And then you're like, oh, these are good. And then they're like, I got you lined up for it. And then you come off, and then you drink like another 3 car bombs. And then you just really don't, and then you just pass out. And then and I just like, it was pretty, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing because I had to call everybody next morning, say I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sucks.
I didn't mean for that to happen. It won't happen again. And then we had a show that night, and I had I don't ever get hangovers, but I had a hangover. I mean, I was bad. I was like, insistent on being good that night, so I just drank Gatorade all day long, and I was vomiting, and then we played that night, and it was a good show. I think we played a Firehouse, Verbling Firehouse. And,
oh, shit. Yeah. I remember those clips.
I can't remember. I think we played with Loser and the Checkers, that band, the Checkers and Loser.
The one guy lived around the corner, Dan Salyards. He was the drummer, I think.
Yeah.
He lived around the corner from me, and then...
Dan Seath played drums.
Oh, Dan Salyards was on guitar.
Yeah.
Seath was the drummer. Big
Yeah. Yeah, he looked like Jeff Lynne. He had like the curly hair.
Yeah. And the Checkers, their kid. I stayed back in in ninth grade. Like I did nothing.
Sure.
So then I got my school stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm back in this grade, and I go and I see all these I'm sitting with all these young kids. I'm like, okay. And then it happened the next year in a row because I did zero schoolwork.
Yeah.
And it happened the next year in a row. That's why I dropped out because I stopped going. I was like, this is where I get humiliated.
School isn't for certain people.
No,
definitely not.
But the kid from the Checkers, Andrew?
Andy. Andy Harris.
Andy what?
Andrew Harris. Not Andrew Harris. Andrew. I'm forgetting his name.
It was Andy.
Harris. Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, and he was
Andy
he
Clark.
Was on the Checkers.
Yes. I don't know why I knew Andy Harris.
Yeah, he had longer hair back then, but they were cool.
Yeah, they were cool. He does sound now. He does sound throughout Philly. He's on tour with like a bigger band.
Oh, cool.
Now. Like maybe like Modern Baseball or something like that. Like,
okay.
But and then the bass player Matt.
The kid with the red hair.
No, he had a short cropped hair. He now play. He works on
glasses.
He has glasses now. He's in Coach's Son, the band Coach's Son.
Yeah. Oh,
Matt Bernard.
Bernard. Yeah. He was guitar tech.
My guitar tech. Yeah, he's great. So Matt was in there, and then Nick Harris.
Was Nick Harris the one with the glasses?
Yeah, glasses and like longer red hair. Yeah, shaggier hair.
What I was thinking of.
Yeah, and I think I don't know where he's at right now, but yeah.
Yeah, how many? I mean, you've been in a band for so long. So like, how many fucking people have you?
Ben and Cryptkeeper?
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, how many fucking bands have you?
I don't even know.
Thousands, right?
Had to have. I mean, we had to have played thousands of shows, like.
Yeah, and then like 3 bands per show.
3 bands per show, and so
a lot of terrible bands you had to sit through.
There's a lot of terrible bands,
but then a lot of great bands that you get to play with.
A lot of great bands, and some of them we made became really good friends with. It's good, I think everything good in my life has come from the band. So I don't have a lot of money, but I still have a lot of. I met my wife because of the band. All my best friends because of the band.
What? Now, wasn't when you guys did Trent Mix?
Mm-hmm.
Who? How many guys were in the band, Matt?
That was we started it as 5 guys. Started making it, and then as we were recording, we brought in the piano and a sax player.
Okay.
And as we were recording, I started playing guitar on some of the stuff too.
Yeah.
So before that, I was just before that, yeah.
Yeah.
So and after Trent Makes, that's when we became the 7-piece band, or during Trent Makes. So it was around 2002, and that's when we recorded that with Bailey.
Okay. Because I think I saw you guys like when I first started going to your guys' shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was right after that, because I remember seeing you guys at like an American Legion or something. I can't remember. I drank so much. I was always fucking hammered.
It's hard to remember.
Yeah, I know. I can't even remember. I've been sober like a while, and I still can't remember.
Sometimes it's hard to remember.
Dude, we go on tour like with Dim and Andrew, our guitarist.
Yeah.
Like they tell me stuff that I'm like, I'm fucking so glad you guys are here to remember everything, because I don't remember any of this shit.
I can. We can walk into a bar and I'll be like, we played here before, and Jimmy like, what? I'm like, we definitely played here, and he's like, what? I'm like, walk around the corner, there'll be a pinball machine and a moose head sign. And he walk around the corner, he's like, we did play here. I'm like, yeah.
So you're the guy in
I can remember places. Like, I can remember being someplace, like, we definitely played here. I don't, because, like, places change names and everything, and you book, and, first time we played the Jinx in Savannah, Georgia, we pulled up and, like, was like, whoa, this is the Velvet Elvis. And like, is it? And like, we walked in, and like,
Cool name.
the Velvet Elvis had a big Elvis painting in the back right behind the stage. So you played in front of a big Velvet Elvis.
Where was this?
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. Great town. That's one of my favorite. Yeah, it's one of my favorite towns.
Georgia's cool. I forget where we played there, but there was somebody getting shot next to us.
Me and Jimmy were in Georgia. We played Atlanta, Georgia, a place called the Neutron Bomb. And we saw a dead dude in the car.
Nice.
It's funny because I wrote like one of our like prettiest songs about. I was talking to my wife. This is before I had a cell phone, so I was talking to my wife on a payphone. And it was really cold in Atlanta, Georgia that night. So it was cold, and so I was writing. Got done talking to my phone on my wife. I hung up. Well, she was my girlfriend, and I'm walking back to the venue, and I see Jimmy look in the car. But I wrote the first lines, standing in a winter's glowing light of a phone booth around midnight. That was on Trent Makes. We had a song called Sweet You. Was that wrong? No.
No, Sweet You was on the double.
Yeah, so I wrote that about that night, and then I didn't put anything about the dead dude in the Sweet song about my wife. So
yeah.
But yeah, I came back, and then Jimmy's looking in his car. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Jim? Leave that guy alone. And he's like, dude, I think he's dead. I'm like, look at him. We're like shaking the car, and as we're talking, there's just so much like mist coming from her mouth. And then we're shaking. He just like cocked over, and like there's nothing coming out of him, nothing. I'm like, dude, this dude's dead. He's totally dead. And then I'm like, let's just go.
Yeah.
I don't want to. And so we just left the dude there.
Yeah. That's the right move, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you, like, okay, so, I've listened to your songs many, many fucking times. Actually, it's weird, because, like, there's a lot of bands that I don't, like, that I'm friends with, and I don't listen to their music, not because I don't like it or anything.
Right.
It's just, I either play a lot of shows with them, but Cryptkeeper, I listen to it regularly, like I know the word, like, you know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like, but, well, yeah, I'm not saying it's suck your dick.
Sure, no, yeah.
It's just, it just does that for me, I'm at a different part of my life. Like, I don't like driving around listening to like hardcore music anymore. I used to drive around listening to Casualties and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't do it anymore.
I put it on more now than I used to. Like now, like harder stuff.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You're doing the opposite.
Well, it's because I think I got tired of listening to all light stuff.
Okay.
So now I'm like,
you're going through waves.
Yeah, I'm going through waves. Like I go through waves. Like I've been on a Sepultura kick lately. I've been listening to Refuse, Resist. Oh yeah,
Refuse, yeah.
Well, no, that's one of the albums. Sepultura, like a heavy metal band, but they're Latin.
Okay.
So all the drums are very just like they're really rad. They're a really good band. You should check them out. Like,
why? Because I'm a spick and I might like.
I mean, no. It's just because they're really interesting. Like a lot of the, and just like wow, it's really kind of cool.
Do they use like Latin shit?
They do it like they do in background stuff, and I think they might have a guy playing it too.
Yeah.
But they're really fun.
That's cool. Well, I mean, like what I was getting at was like with the. So you're in Georgia, you're on the phone, and you see this dead guy. What makes you write those words?
Well, I saw him. I was writing them on the way back, and that's when I saw a dead guy.
Oh,
and I'm like, so I was like,
okay.
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So yeah, no.
That was just by happenstance.
It's just by happenstance. I was like writing. Oh, I'm gonna write a sweet song about my girlfriend. And then and I'm like, oh, it was like, so I just wrote them down because I couldn't really write anymore after that.
What's your writing process?
I just write as much as I can.
Like, do you like hum a melody or something, and then you just like, I'll write to that, or do you just write and then fit those words to a melody you write?
Both. Like some, like because now that I play more guitar, well, now when I became a guitar, before I used to just write melodies and vocals. And I used to come and sing it to the guys back before I played guitar, and I'm like, "This is what I have," and and then they would try to play chords, and then they would play me something, and I'm like, "Nope, yes," and then like that's how we would do it, and then playing in a band with like people like Jimmy, Jimmy just writes such great riffs, but like sometimes they're just hard. they're hard to write to. Like, so I find myself like, I find myself like taking more time to write to something that I didn't write because I don't want it to be. I also want to I don't want to just write something just to make someone happy. Like, dude, it took me like a year to write "Little Girl" because every time, I kept singing fucking Duke of Earl on top of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. Like, so, and I remember him being like, kind of, why the hell aren't you? Like, I don't want to write something cheesy.
Yeah.
You know, even though "Little Girl's" still a great song, it's just cheesy. That's our more bubblegum era.
Yeah.
We're just writing garagey rock, happy. I like them. I do like them.
I like them too. You know what I really like? I like contrast. Like, I like poppy sounds with dark lyrics.
That's what what we do.
Or I like a darker sounding song, like a love song. Like, it sounds almost depressing,
right?
But it's actually a love song.
Yeah, I don't really like happy songs.
Okay. Why not?
So I don't know. I never think to myself I'm really feeling happy. Like, I'm gonna put on something happy. I don't know. I just never do.
What is it? Do you have depression?
I'm sure I do.
Oh, so you never
I've never seen a therapist.
No.
But
I grew up going to fucking shrinks my whole life.
I probably should have, but I've always been afraid that if I went to one,
I'll tell you, you're fucked up.
I would also be too adjusted and not be able to write the songs that I write.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I was worried about when I got sober. I was worried about not being able to crack jokes anymore.
Yeah.
Because you get this vibe that this holier than thou vibe from people that are sober.
Right.
Especially if you go to those 12-step programs.
Yeah.
There's some people in there. And this is only a few of them, but some people have that holier than thou thing where it's well, it's not very sober behavior. It's like, get the fuck out of here, bitch! I ain't that fucking sober.
Well, the thing is, it's not. You just be able
to laugh at yourself and still. I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but in our area of New Jersey, and I think this region. We have a fucked up, dark sense of humor.
Oh, we do, and people don't get it. When we go down south, they don't get sarcasm at all.
Not the same way we.
Not the same way, and yeah, they definitely think we're a little meaner. Not as mean as Boston guys. Guys from Boston are even meaner.
Oh yeah.
But
I like that.
I like it too. But I see them I'm I feel like maybe what the Southern people feel. When I'm hanging out with Boston dude, that's how they must feel when they hang out with us. I'm you guys are and I get it. So I get it, but the guys from Boston are even harder than us.
Yeah.
But I think that's why Jersey's got its thing because people say you guys got a Jersey feel. It's because we're not as pricky as Boston dudes, but we're not as happy and fuzzy as people down south.
Yeah, we're in the middle.
We're in the middle.
We're in the middle.
We're just right.
Yeah,
Jersey.
Right. That's fucking awesome. I get that vibe too in the West Coast when they just the people we've encountered. We've encountered some people that are. What I've found in our experience, very similar to us, where they'll laugh at fucked up shit,
yeah,
or think fucked up things too, or say something,
yeah.
But then you see shit they'll post online, and it's dude, I was just talking to you about this fucked up shit, and
right.
You're gonna act as if you're a totally different, you were just laughing about this.
I don't post anything on Facebook for that reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I just don't want people to know what I'm thinking.
That's actually because you know what, you're wise.
Because that's the thing, you're just gonna make everyone unhappy, and I have a feeling a lot of things that I think would probably make even more people pissy. So I just don't say anything.
Well, that's why. So when we were doing this podcast, we tried starting this last summer, and it was before we started touring heavy.
Yeah.
And our fear was because we're nobodies. As a band,
right?
We didn't want, and everybody the backlash cancel culture was at its maximum peak.
Right, yeah.
And people were just almost looking for an excuse to shut people down and just basically tell people not to follow them and publicly berate them.
Still happening.
It still
constant.
happens, but I feel like this year it went down slightly.
A little bit.
It was last year. I remember the NoFX issue. Being a big deal, and I was a fucking idiot. I commented on it on one, and then I got into it with that. I don't want to say her name, but she's not even local, but she was in a band local and big pain in the ass, and she the first person to call anybody out, and she's a fucking asshole. Either way, that's besides the point. The fact is, I shouldn't have said anything in the beginning, and I shouldn't have engaged, and through all that, we started doing this podcast. We had guys in here. I had my buddy Brian, who is gay, and but he's we've been friends a long time, so we can joke around, we could say fucked up shit to each other that, we get, and it's all out of love. The same way, people from New Jersey talk shit.
They talk shit to each other.
Your friends talk shit, and if they're not talking shit, they might not know you well or even like you. Right,
that's the thing. You're not gonna be sarcastically tongue in cheek funny with people that you don't like.
Exactly.
I don't get that. I'm friendly to the people that I don't like. I'm like, hey, it's nice to see you, But I'm not gonna be like, hey, fuckface, Where I do that to we do that practice. Hey, fuckface, because we love each other.
Exactly.
And that's how you show you love each other. But
yeah, that's why we recorded a couple episodes, and then we didn't do anything with them, because the things that people were saying, we had Brian, who was gay, we had some other guy who was black, and he was we were talking about the N-word and things like that, and I was like, you know what, dude, it's not worth it. We're about to go on all these tours right now, and people might get the wrong idea about us because they don't know who we are.
Right.
My feeling is the only people that have to worry about people thinking negative thoughts about them are truly vicious and evil people.
Right.
Trying to hide something. But also, if nobody knows who you are, they may just think that anyway. And we put a lot of money and effort into the band and into the touring that I was like, this podcast thing isn't worth it.
No,
you know what I mean? It's not.
Well, it's because people don't know you yet. And right now, I even think, sometimes, if someone thinks something of me and I'm like, I don't get it. Certain people, they just don't like me. I'm like, which is fine, who
the fuck could not like you?
I don't know. I think I'm completely likable, but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, you just you just wonder what the fuck could I have done, because I'm pretty easygoing, but at that point you just gotta say fuck it. Who cares? I don't care. I care about the band, and that's another reason why I don't post anything. I just, my feelings and thoughts, you get what I want you to get if you listen to our music, and but you don't need to know who I voted for, and you don't need to know, because that's charged. You don't need to know my views. I'm friendly to everyone, and I like everyone. I really do. I'm a different person now than I was when I was a kid.
Imagine if you were a kid and this technology existed. This Facebook,
I don't even know.
Twitter, and Instagram.
We were crazy when we were kids. When I was 17. Some of the stuff we did, my nephew recently got caught on camera. He was in LBI 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. He got caught. He got caught just doing something stupid, throwing a flower pot off a Peddler Village, or not Peddler Village, the one down LBI, the village, Bay Village, or whatever.
Okay.
So he was drunk. And he threw a flower pot off the building, and he got caught on camera because there's cameras fucking everywhere now. There's not when we were kids, and I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, first off, I was like, kind of proud. I was like, fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah, right?
Because I thought he was just too nice. Like, I thought it was like, you're too nice. But like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, some of the shit we did, we just demolished things. Like, we set dumpster fires and fucking and we we would play car tag and crash into other people's cars and
Car tag.
We fucking, dude, we used to egg houses every night. That was what we did for fun.
In the summertime?
We would do it all the time. We would go to bridges and throw bricks off bridges, which I'm glad we never did. It caused any harm, because at the same time we were throwing bricks off bridges, other kids were doing shit like that, and someone threw a bowling ball and killed a baby.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they got caught, so it was not us. So that made me we're done throwing shit off bridges.
You do dumb shit when you're a kid, but it's fun.
But it is fun. It is fun. It's innocent. We think it's innocent, and if we ever did anything and hurt someone, we wouldn't, But dude, I can remember being 12 and sitting on my neighbor's roof and shooting the mailman with a BB gun. We would sit on his roof, dude, we would do some pretty crazy shit when we were kids, and if we got caught back then, we probably wouldn't even have gotten in trouble. But if you shoot the mailman now, you're going to juvie. You're
deal.
And if you got caught setting a dumpster fire or
arson,
vandalizing a building or all that shit, I remember being 10 years old and we found a golf club and a bunch of golf balls. And we went down to Alexander School and broke out all the windows with golf balls.
We did that with a BB gun.
Yeah, that's what we did. But
you grew up in Hamilton?
Yeah. I grew up 3 houses down from Alexander School on Estates Boulevard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where we.
So you went to Reynolds and Steiner?
Reynolds Steiner, yep. Alexander Reynolds Steiner.
Okay.
Yep. But when we first bought the house, my parents bought the house before I was born. And they got pictures of me and my twin brother Frankie on the front yard in a wagon. And you could see Steiner from our front yard. There were no houses.
Wow.
There were no houses.
Yeah, they built up a lot.
My dad used to hunt on the front yard.
What?
He used to go out with a gun. He had a tree stand. He would shoot deer. He would bring them into the garage. And you got them, and we would eat the deer. And if it got too cold, he would just stay inside the house and cut a hole in the screen and shoot deer through the screen. Yeah, he was allowed to hunt on our front yard.
Jesus.
And this is back, I guess going back 1978, 9, but
yeah, it was a different world back then.
Totally different world back then.
Yeah.
It's I wish it's kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah, it's
I think there's a lot of great things better though. I'm honestly glad that we get into arguments sometimes with people. They don't understand with the gay community, the LG, I don't know.
LGBTQ.
It's too hard for me to remember.
Yeah.
But I had an argument with someone once, and I said, as bad as you think it is, the world is definitely getting better. I'm it's not where it should be. No, I think everybody should be able to do whatever they want. I really personally, I don't care. But when I was in high school, there were no openly gay kids. It was, dude, I can't remember. There was one kid that I thought might have been gay, and I thought it was rad because he had a really good style.
What, 94?
94.
Yeah.
So there were no openly gay kids. And then my nephew graduated he's 24, so graduated 6 years ago. He said there were openly gay kids walking in the hall hand in hand, and I'm and you guys are cool with that, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm and that's where I wish we were when I was in 94. I wish.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than being who you are and having to hide who you are, and
the first guy I had sponsored was I was 25 when I got sober, and I sponsored this 52-year-old gay guy, and he was also a Jesus freak.
Right.
So he really hated himself.
That's sad.
You know what I'm saying?
It's sad,
dude. It's so sad. And he when I first met him, he would be puff out his chest, try to be extra masculine, and I don't even think it was all an act. I think he was like a masculine guy.
Yep.
But I guess he at times had to overcompensate just to like throw the scent off the gay trail or something.
I think it's a shame.
It's fucked up. And I remember when he told me he was gay because I didn't even put it together. That's how oblivious. I mean, I don't think about it.
Because you don't care. Who cares?
Shit.
Right.
It's a non-issue to me. Like, I don't give a fuck. And he, like, it's weird. I was 25, and I'm talking to this 52-year-old guy, and he was telling me about all the shit that he had to deal like, and I'm like, whoa.
Right.
That's fucking...
It's totally fucked up.
It's not, like, there's no way I can know what it's like to deal with that kind of persecution or that kind of oppression.
Right. I mean, you can say we can try to stretch it to where you can kind of understand. Like, I can understand what it's like to be who I am and think that I'm more than what people see. I play in a band. I think that we are a great band. I think we should be a big band. We're not a big band. So I can try to, totally whatever, like knock it down to I understand, to feel like I'm more than what people see.
To empathize.
Yeah. And for me, like, and that, because I can remember being like 13, 14 and, homophobic, because that's who I was at the time.
What's your idea of homophobic, though? Because that's like that's a term that's like...
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. See, it's at that time I was just like, like I didn't want to be called gay. And,
okay, gotcha.
And right now, like, someone calls me gay, I'm like, all right. Like,
well, do you think that has also to do with maturity?
I think so.
Because, like, especially at 14...
I think at 14...
I was very insecure as an individual, and me and my girlfriend were having this conversation last night because we were talking about possibly... dude, so I'm booking a show for us in the West Coast, and this guy, I put him on speakerphone. Me and my girlfriend, me and Amanda were watching TV, so I pause it, and I have him on speakerphone, and he goes, "Yo, how do you feel about playing Tijuana?" And I was like... He's like, "You're gonna be right there," and I was like, "Well, as long as we don't get robbed or anything like that, like I would, that'd be badass." He goes, "Yeah, man, we'll get you like hookers and all this other shit." And I was like, and I look at Amanda, and she's just like, "What the fuck?" And we went to Europe, and like I'd be on the phone with her. I'd be like, "Yo, we're in the red light district right now. This is fucking nuts." And I don't like partake.
Right.
I think everybody should check out.
Check it out. See what's going on. Right.
And so we had this whole long talk about, she was upset that she's like, "I don't want to hear this shit. It's bad enough that you're on the road." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's super supportive. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that like I don't have a fucking bitch of a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Some people aren't as lucky. And I was like, "Look, I used to be a piece of shit and cheat on girls and stuff, and I was always drunk when it happened. Not that the alcohol made me do it. I was just a piece of shit."
Mm-hmm.
And but what I was trying to say was like, look, back then, I wouldn't even like my girlfriends going out with their girlfriends because I was insecure.
Right.
And I said, "How many times have you gone out with your friends or bachelorette parties and shit?"
Yeah.
All I say? Have fun. Don't touch any dicks.
Right.
Outside of that, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Sure.
And but I was too insecure at the age of fucking 22.
Right. So at 14.
Like so at 14, if somebody called me gay, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And I'd smack the shit out of him because I was a fucking idiot.
Right. No, I think back then, I think you just, again, it just comes from being, trying to be a macho young man.
Tough guy.
Yeah. So, but back then, it was also... Like I said, my nephew, when he was 14, there were kids that were openly gay in school, and it would have been cool if we had that. Like
I agree. I think when I went though, there was, and nobody cared.
Right.
The only people that would make comments, because I played football.
Yeah.
And I played And the reality, everybody thinks everybody's a fucking jock asshole, and I was lucky because I was into comic books and video games and shit like that, but I happened to play football and wrestled, so I had friends on both ends, and there were some douchebags that were on the team, but very few.
Right, that's
Most
good.
guys didn't care.
See, I think that might be the 10-year difference, you know, between me and you. Like, and I'm glad. I just wish, you know. So for me, like I said, I try to tell people things are getting better because they are. Because you know, and because my dad would, you know, back in the the late 50s, it was not okay to be gay at all. Like, you know, and I don't know. I just hope again, I just hope everything gets to a good point with that.
I think so, man. I think what we're seeing right now is just a change in technology,
right?
And people are able to communicate so freely without repercussions. Because you say something to somebody's face, you're gonna say it differently. But also think about if the conversations you and the guys have, in Cryptkeeper.
Yeah.
Imagine for a second that you just had a sheet of papers with everything typed up.
Yeah,
just conversations. You'd be like, who the fuck would say this shit?
Right? Yeah. No, I always
different, right?
I say it to the guys too. I mean, because we're stupid, you know, because like we like to say stupid things, and so. We always say that we're lucky, you know. Again, someone can hear what we're saying right now and think that, you know, John's a dinosaur. You know, John's a dinosaur. He really thinks the world's getting better, but it is getting a little better. It's getting better.
This is the best time in existence that we've ever had.
Right.
It's never been this good as it is today, right, as we're speaking.
Right. Yeah, I mean...
It needs to get better.
You know, I know at some point, you know, like the politics, you know, politically, I don't know really, you know, I know they're fighting for certain things here and there, but I just don't have the time to pay attention to politics right now.
Well,
I'm also just not that type of person. Maybe when I have kids, I'll care more.
Any of it?
I mean, I don't think
you believe your vote counts.
Right? No, but But I also like don't know like what like the issues are going on at this point. Like I got such a small
radar
attention span.
Yeah.
Like I got ADD. I'm sure we'll listen back to this and be like, dude, John jumps from one thing to another. Like,
oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I definitely have ADD.
The cool thing about this is there's no agenda on this. This is just conversation.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like with me, like, you know, like I definitely have ADD. I definitely have like a thing where I can't sit still too long. Like I guess that's ADD. Like even when I try to fall asleep. Like,
I have to fall asleep with the TV on.
Well, I'd fall asleep with a fan in my face, but sometimes I'll be like just nodding off to sleep and I'll just fucking scream something because it's too quiet in the room. And my wife would be like, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like I was like, did I just do that? Or like, you know, like I think the other night I fucking meowed like super loud, and it scared the shit out. I was like super like ah! Like, and she goes, what the fuck was that? I started laughing. I was still sleeping, so I was like, did I just meow? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I have no clue why I just did that. I was like just falling asleep. And I think I just, you know, same thing with like she calls my feet Jimmy feet because like they're always like always so
the restless leg syndrome.
Yeah,
everything's a syndrome, right?
Yeah, everything's syndrome.
Yeah,
but
you just got energy, man.
Yeah, it's all you pent up, you know. So
the fucking my mind won't shut off.
Yeah,
like my mind is always racing, and it's I'm always trying to like think of, okay, what do I got to do, and how can I get better at the like. All right, I fucked this up. I usually do like a life inventory type thing at night. Is like, all right, what did I do today? All right, did I fuck that up? Yeah, I probably was a dick. Okay, don't be a dick tomorrow. Like you know what I mean? Try to be nicer or something like that. Sometimes I forget to do it, depending on what's going on. Because if I'm at home on my home life, I have almost like a schedule.
Right.
So it's easier for me to stay consistent with things. But we just were in the Poconos for demoing. And I've been really trying to like, because I love eating like shit, but I feel like shit when I do.
Yeah.
Like I actually get back pains just when I had pizza last night and I woke up with a sore back. I guess it's like I have I hurt my back a while back at work, and when I eat inflammatory foods like gluten, shit, I feel it. And when I eat regular shit, like just chicken and salad,
less sugar, less
like no sugar, just like meat and vegetables.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad.
right.
And that's, I mean, everybody's body is different. Like some people, can't have sugar, right? But so the Poconos, Andrew, skinniest motherfucker ever, and eats like garbage.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, let's get s'mores," and I'm so weak. He was like, "S'mores and ice cream sandwiches." I'm a weakling, and I love sugar too. So I'm like, "Fuck yeah! All right, let's do this." And I feel terrible, and it's like because I'm out of my.
It's just
I'm
weird.
not consistent.
S'mores are just such one of them things that I never think of thinking. It's like, let's eat s'mores. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, when someone hands me one, I'm like, all right, I'll eat it. But like, I always think like,
we had a fireplace a fireplace in the thing, and it was, dude, this house was great for what we needed.
Yeah.
But it had electric baseboard heat, and the electric, the wiring, like so fucking sketchy. You plug your phone in an outlet to charge your phone, and all the lights would dim in the room.
Oh, that's scary.
It's like on a there's like 0 amperage being used by this phone, and it dimmed the lights. And then we hooked Wes's amp into one outlet, and when you flip the off of standby, it would shut the light off completely. It became a light switch.
That's funny.
All sketchy. So we had this fireplace that we were basically forced to use because it was cold as fuck.
Yeah.
And the electric baseboard wasn't really doing that great of a job. And he was like, "Yo, we should get s'mores, like a campfire."
That's funny. That's great. That's awesome.
Well, he's got the enthusiasm of a child, and it's good.
It's good to have people like that,
dude. I get so serious and work mode. Like I'm like, all right, we have to like drill sergeant almost. That I forget to have a good time. Well, and I need, I'm glad that the three of them,
right?
Wes fucks off, Andrew fucks off, and Doug are new bassists. Well, he's not new anymore.
He's the newest.
He's the newest. He fits like a glove, fits right in, man. He was the missing piece of the puzzle, and we can all fuck around. And I'm glad that they're there to make sure that I'm having a good time.
When we toured Goolsby, he's the type of person that, like, when we pull into town, he'd be like, we have to go check this out before we get to the venue. And, we pull into town, he's like, we should go see H.P. Lovecraft's tomb. I'm like, okay. So we drive to see a tomb. Or, we're driving through Lubbock. He's like, we should stop at the Buddy Holly Museum. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But Cryptkeeper, usually when we're on the road, we just drive straight to the place. We don't stop places. We don't, I wish we had someone in the band that was more like, we got to get up early so we can go check out this on the way to this.
That's how Andrew and Wes are.
See, we don't do that.
That's how Andrew and Wes are. They're like, we went to Japan and then we were going to go straight to Germany. They were like, we should stop in Thailand. And I was like, dude, because all I saw was dollar signs on everything. That's all I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I never went anywhere in my life.
Well, it's good. It's good to go out and do what you got to do.
But I was negative about it.
Yeah.
I was and I don't even think I vocalized it at the time. But in my head, I was just like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, let's just make a vacation out of everything, guys.
Right, yeah.
Let's just spend all the money we have and you know what I mean, and get nothing back for it. And you know what? I had the greatest time of my life.
And
because they actually research this stuff and dream big. I don't dream big.
Right. Yep. That's what you got to do.
I had no aspirations.
It's like, that's why, that's why it's good. And like you said, even if nothing happened, even if you just lost a shitload of money, you could say you were in Thailand for a week, or 2 weeks, however long you were there.
Well, the thing is Thailand, the American dollar goes very far.
Right.
But to get there, it's really expensive. You got a call?
No, I'm turning it off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we were basically going across it anyway.
Right.
So it's like, why don't we just stop there?
Yeah.
Hang out.
You pretty much just had a long layover in Thailand.
Dude, we stayed in this fucking resort that was like $35 a day for like the badass suite.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was
why
like,
not?
I'm getting my own room. We had those bases at the time. It turned out to be a total piece of shit. Made everything about himself. So I told him, I was like, if I see you, I was like, this is our apart time. I said, if I see you, I'm going to pay one of these fucking Thai motherfuckers to kill you. I just stay. Like, if you see me, just go the other way. Just avoid me. Because I had it up there.
It's hard. It's hard to go on the road.
Dude, he was bothering Dim. You know Dim.
Dim's pretty great.
He's great.
Dim's pretty easygoing.
Easygoing, great. He's a
like
nice
probably
guy.
one of the most positive people.
And he was getting under Dim's skin.
Yeah.
And like it was bad. And for that to happen, you got to be a pretty shitty person.
Yeah, I would think. I don't think I've ever heard Dim say a negative thing about someone, or he's just pleasant to be around.
Yeah. I actually because typically like before these podcasts, I'll do like an intro and then play the conversation, and then I'll do an outro.
Yeah.
And for Dim's, I was like, look, if you don't like this guy, there's something wrong with you. You're the asshole.
Yeah, no,
Who doesn't like him?
No, yeah.
That's why I was surprised when you said if people don't like you. I'm like, who the fuck doesn't like you?
Some people just don't. Some people. I think I also find the longer you do something, and you watch other people stop doing it, the more some people want to see you stop, because.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes people don't want to see you continue doing what you are doing because they stopped doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah, there's like that conformity thing where it's like, oh, you're doing something outside of the norm. By now, you should have gotten this out of your system.
Right. And
or they're jealous.
Or I don't know. I read something recently that they thought if you're still trying to be successful in music, after a certain point, it could be considered a mental illness. I read that recently. I can't remember.
Well, I think there's levels of delusion. Like there's people like, okay, give you an example. When I hear you say, I think my band is really good and I think we should be bigger than what we are, I have been saying that for years.
Right.
I've always been saying, why the fuck hasn't this band ever been like picked up by like a major? Because you guys have the sound that is, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, is in the middle.
Yeah,
like you could be played on the radio. You could be played in a punk rock show, in a punk club. You could be played anywhere. You could literally play any place.
That's why that's one of the things I like about Cryptkeeper, the fact that we don't really fit into one thing. Like maybe we wouldn't play like a ska bill because we're not really a ska band.
Okay,
but
yeah, there's some outliers.
But we could fit on a blues bill.
Be fantastic on the blues.
And we fit on punk rock bills because and
the energy.
Yeah, I guess I've never really seen like certain bills, like not that Nickelback and Creed and everything are bands anymore, but I've never even seen bands like that play. I think I've mentioned that to people before.
Like what?
Like you've been playing in a band for quite some time. Like when those bands were big, Nickelback and Creed. Like, Cryptkeeper, we're still doing what we do now. But we never played with a band that sounded like that. Like, I never showed up to a venue and sometimes you play with bands that, like we would play with, Coach Commando and they sound like, like that jazzy. I'm like, oh, this is different. And, sometimes you play with bands that sound like, Violent Femmes. Oh, this is different. But never have I ever played to a place and a band's come out and they sounded like
Nickelback.
I always wonder like where those bands come from. Like where do they come from? Like
I have the theory that all of them met at they were all members of the Cher fan club, and they all just wanted to sound like Cher.
They all do sound like Cher. They all,
and they were just
the music is just,
live, laugh, live.
yeah, never really.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, all those bands, like I always, but like, you know, I find it interesting that I've never played with a band like we played with rap bands. We played with not rap bands, but you know, rap acts. Like, you know, like, so how is it that I've played with so many different genres, but never something that's just like radio friendly? And I know that we are like in the verge of radio friendly, like, but we've never played with just like one of them bands that like.
My theory with you guys is that you guys have always been ahead of the curve musically. Like what you guys put out, people catch on to it a couple years later.
Yeah.
And it's like already like, oh, well, this isn't a new record anymore. So
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was my, because I put a lot of thought into this because I would listen to your shit and I would show it to basically everybody. I mean, when me and Amanda first started dating, like we met at your show. We met in John Peters.
Oh, nice.
And we continuously, like every date, I'd be like, "Yo, Cryptkeeper's playing Philly. Let's go there. Cryptkeeper's playing. Let's go." It was because it was right when Stronghold came out, so you guys were like basically playing the shit out of it.
We're still playing most of it because like we don't want to play too much new stuff.
Well, it was great. It was like basically like I not only showed her because she listens to like garbage fucking music, shit like that. But she also is open-minded enough. Like, she's way more open. What's weird is that she listens to dog shit, but she's way more open-minded than I am.
Right, yeah.
Because she will listen to my stuff, too. Even if she doesn't like it, she'll sit there quietly. And if she puts on her stuff, I'll be like, what the fuck are we listening to? So, everybody I've showed you guys to, they're like, these guys are fucking awesome. I'm like, yeah. They're like, these big band? I'm like, they should be. They fucking should be. No. And that's my theory on you guys, is that you guys are always ahead. Because think about it. It's like with art. It's got nothing to do with talent.
No, it doesn't.
Somebody just sold a fucking
banana taped to a wall.
Taped to a wall.
For
like, what the fuck is that?
$120,000 or something.
Yeah.
And I think the dude ate the banana. I think he did.
Really?
I think he did.
I mean, before it turns, you gotta get after it.
Yeah, it's disheartening. It is. You know, the Stronghold was the first album that we ever got like love for, though. Like while we like, you know, like people liked all the other albums, like our friends and stuff, but Stronghold is the one that we got like mad amounts of like write-ups about, like that. Okay. The first time in our career, you know, people would be like, you know. Like it, like, you know, like, I forget, I think Palace Depression, maybe a guy put out a book, the top 100 albums of 2010, I think. And we were in there somewhere, like, for Palace Depression, was in New Jersey, so
just the Palace Depression, though, not
Darker Days, just Palace Depression. But yeah, so I think it was like, I think a guy named Gary Ween put out a book, and it was the top 100 albums of New Jersey bands from 2000 to 2010.
Okay.
And Palace Depression was in there. So that was cool that we made a book and stuff, but we, like, when it came out, we never got any write-ups. Like, we would like write like crazy. That's also probably because now we have my nephew helping us, and he's super smart, and he's our manager.
Yeah, there's a lot of back end work that goes into the band.
And as much as I could try to do that stuff, then I wouldn't be putting my time into making all the other things. Like, because I do like the designing, and I do the, you know,
that's what Wes is doing for us now.
Yeah,
not designing. We still use his girlfriend and his sister helps us with all our flyers and shit. But I mean, you're super creative in that sense, where it makes sense why you do.
Right? Yeah.
He's not an artist. Like that. But all the demos that we do, all the booking of shows, he's taken that role on. That used to mostly be me. And now it's very little to do with. I have very little to do with it,
But I still work. He quit his job.
Right.
So he basically took this on as a full-time job. But yeah, he does a lot.
It's a lot. Well, there's a lot. You need someone to be a manager for you. Like if you know. So luckily, my nephew took us on, and hopefully, he's been doing a lot of good shit for us. So we'll just continue working with him, see how it goes.
My dog snoring.
Yeah.
You hear that shit? You're fucking.
I thought it was wind blowing outside, but it's...
No, it's two big mongoloids fucking laying in their cages.
That's fine.
I got two little ones too. But the I mean, so like, what made you? Would you start with a guitar?
I started singing.
Started singing?
Yep.
What age?
16.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened was Jimmy joined a band, the band that I ended up joining.
You were friends with Jimmy?
I've been friends with Jimmy since we were like... I met Jimmy when I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
And then me and Jimmy became friends probably around 12. In middle school, we became friends.
Okay.
And then around 16, Jimmy, 16 or 17, he was 17 because he's a little older than me. He joined a band, and he tried to get me to join, or to try to get the band to take me, and they didn't like me. Well, they liked me. All the members, I was friends with them, but the one guitar player who started the band wasn't really into me being in the band. So then I was friends with all those dudes, and then Jimmy's like, hey, why don't we go jam at John's house one day? And we jammed on a Fugazi song. We jammed on Waiting Room.
I get the fuck.
Yeah, so I was like 16 years old in my parents' basement, where we, in the same spot that we practice in now, we played the Fugazi song maybe like 10 times, like because we all just sat there and learned it and everything. And then, we were all just like happy that we could do it. I was like, oh, this is rad, And then I think we probably played like, maybe Blitzkrieg Bop and maybe like God Save the Queen or something. And then those guys told them, hey, we need him to be in the band, and otherwise we don't want to be in the band anymore. So then the one guy who didn't want me in the band took me in the band. But even when we first started, he didn't, I would write songs, lyrics, and then I would bring like a guitar. Again, I was a really bad guitar player. So like when I first started, I was like, and I was like, this is kind of the chords that I hear. And at that point, the guy was like, look, you're just a singer. Don't bring the guitar. Don't show me. I'm like, all right, dude, you're right. And at that point, I was like, you're right. And then at some point, over the few years, I got less timid and more assertive on, well, this is the song. You guys can take it or you don't have to take it. And if you don't take it, I will do it myself in the studio with, another band. Like, this is just kind of how it goes. Like, I don't get offended if you don't like it. But, and then at some point, when Scotty left the band, because that's over years, I would play guitar and play songs and hear songs, and I still am not good enough to play in a band anyways. Like,
to play guitar live.
Yeah. I it is hard. And
playing singing is...
Right, and not playing the way I play. The way I play isn't that hard. Jimmy's just a lead guitar player, and I'm just a rhythm guitar player. So some of the stuff I do isn't too crazy, but I think that's what makes our sound. Like I'm the meat and potatoes of the band, and Jimmy is all the great stuff that you put on top of it, like the gravy and everything. Yeah. Like I'm just like basic. But so it took a while for me to start playing guitar, but as I got older, I started playing more and more. And when Scotty left, we were auditioning guitar players, and everyone that came in to audition, like these guys aren't even as good as me. Why are we? We're not going to take this guy. We're not going to take. We got to find someone that's better than me. And at that point, we didn't find someone, and I just said, fuck it, I'll just play. Mm-hmm. And, I still wouldn't be opposed to getting another guitar player,
and
just singing, or just, finding a guy and just, doing different things. Like, Buzzy,
the keyboards.
The keyboards, yeah. Buzzy's played everything for us, so. Buzzy played originally played drums for us.
Oh, really?
He played on For You and Scream Shovel Scream and
really?
Midnight on Lovers Lane.
He played all that?
Yeah, he played all that.
I
Yeah,
thought that was Dave.
yeah. No, Dave moved to California at that point, so we had Buzzy play on that, and we wrote a bunch of songs, like 5 or 6 songs we recorded with Bailey and Buzzy. So he played drums for us originally, and
I
then
love that fucking song.
I like that song too. But then we found a drummer because he could only fill in because Buzzy's older than us.
Yeah.
And then we lost a bass player, and then he played bass for us for a few years.
Uh-huh.
And he just fell in. And then Jimmy went away for a month, and Buzzy filled in on guitar.
Uh-huh.
We played, I think, 2 of our biggest shows that year when Jimmy was away. We played that Catch-22 show, and we played like a big show, like a big horror rock show up near Clifton.
Okay.
There were 2 bigger shows that year, and we ended up having Jimmy not play them, so he was kind of bummed by that. But
I believe it.
So Buzzy's done everything for us. The only thing he hasn't done is sing, and I wouldn't be opposed to having him sing a song, because then you could say he did everything.
Is he a good singer?
Yeah, he plays in a band called Pretty Goats.
Okay.
He's a singer of Pretty Goats.
Okay.
And he was in a band called Go-Go Volante. He sang for that band. You would remember him from Bongo Jones.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he used to play drum. When I first met him, he was a guitar player at Bongo Jones.
Okay.
And then he played drums for Bongo Jones.
Okay.
But he also played slide trombone. He played
He
played slide trombone on we have a song called Return of the Machine. He played slide trombone
That's
on
about
that.
Dave, right?
Yeah, that was about Dave. Yeah. Dave, when he left, and it wasn't. I guess it was an angrier song, but it was pretty much just to say, we're not gonna break up because you left. Yeah. And that's kind of what we do with every time someone leaves, we kind of write a,
Isn't a lot of Darker Days about Mike?
Yeah, me and Mikey had a falling out. Yeah, we wrote a lot of angry songs about Mikey, and
so wait, you and Mike were friends, and then you had a falling out.
Yeah,
and then you wrote like a fucking I'm gonna kill this fucking album. Did you know it was gonna turn into that?
No, I honestly I was just writing to write, and me and Mikey were really close, and then we had a falling out, and now Mikey's still I'm happy that I'm not wise by any means, but wise enough to get over things that I shouldn't be angry about. Yeah. Because otherwise I wouldn't have my best friend. Yeah. He's he's a
good dude.
He is. Mikey's one of my favorite people in the world.
He's a funny motherfucker too.
He's incredibly funny. He's one of the people that people don't understand.
What do you mean?
Some people don't get his humor, like Tony Goggles. Some people don't get his humor. I get his humor. I get it, and it always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Where some people just get lividly angry at him.
Oh yeah.
He's
a divisive.
Right, he is. And Mikey's got the same thing. Not as bad, but I can remember being at a party at my parents' house. We used to have parties all the time at my parents' house when I lived there, and someone got really mad at Anthony because Anthony's just being Anthony, and they went to spit on him in my house, which I thought was pretty fucked up. But I was really drunk, so I went to spit on him, and he missed him and hit the kid next to him, and the kid's like, "Whoa!" It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen because he went to spit on the one that was making him mad, and he hit the wrong dude. I'm like, get out of my house! Stop spitting on things.
Yeah.
But Anthony has that. Anthony has that thing where I love working with Anthony. I've known Anthony for a long time. I played in a band with Anthony. Anthony dated my wife in high school.
Really?
Yeah, they were. Anthony dated my wife, and then I played in a band with Anthony and Nick Harris and a whole bunch of different people. But I think we recorded with me, Anthony, Nick Harris and Jimmy.
He's a great drummer.
He's great. He's
a
great.
really great drummer, and he looks weird doing it. Like he looks unconventional, like,
right?
Because he plays so fucking low to the ground.
Yep, he plays low,
solid,
super solid, and,
solid drummer.
And it was fun working with him. Like I didn't realize how good he was until. Because I played in that band with them. It was called the Blacklight Devils. We recorded an album, but we never released it. Like, we never finished it. But I never realized how good of a drummer he was until I started playing with different drummers between Dave and Brian. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't vibe with any of them. Mm-hmm. And then, but I thought to myself, Anthony really was really great because I didn't feel uncomfortable, jamming with him at all.
Some people have trouble jamming.
Some people, and some people just don't have a style that works with you or just aren't just good. Cryptkeeper had a few members that, or a few people that, even cymbals can change things. So for me, I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. A drummer comes down, he brings his cymbals down, and he starts playing. I'm like, stop. I'm like, let's take these cymbals, and I'll put Dave's cymbals where they were. I'm like, just let's play like this, just for a second. Just I want to see if. And most of the times when people play with Dave's cymbals, it made it less because the cymbals could fuck me up hardcore. But Brian, it was cool because when Brian came down, he played his cymbals, and his cymbals sounded like Dave's, and he's a totally different drummer than Dave. He's definitely more technical, and he's got this.
Dave, not that he's not technical, but he's a rock and roll drummer.
He's a rock and roll drummer,
and he's
Dave's solid. Metronome. Yeah, he's really solid, and he just and he's just got the thing about the way he plays. But Brian was the first drummer we played with that it didn't feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I think at first it was we butt heads a little bit because we would just play harder.
Oh, he doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't.
No, he's a hard drummer now. He was
I was going to say, but he wasn't when he first started.
I think he was used to having people tell him play lighter. And, a lot of bands, a lot of prog rock bands, little tippy-tappy.
We played this fucking show in Italy, and there was a noise ordinance, at a certain hour.
Yeah.
We were one of the later bands, and the guy, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Apparently he was the guy putting the whole show on. And he comes up to me. This is right before, it's almost like a festival situation, but indoor. And so it's the change up's pretty quick. It's rushed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get a feel for this, alien drum kit that I'm about to sit on. And I have this fucking asshole going, can you please not play loud? Dude, I've never hit the drum so fucking hard in my life. I was getting tired halfway through our set because I was so worn out. Because I was fucking smashing. I was trying to break them.
Right. It's but I think we were used to that too. We were used to being one of the louder bands that. Now we're not. I feel like we're a lot quieter now than we were. Yeah, I like it better. I like it so much. It's one of them things that took me a while. Again, everything's growing, and when Brian came into the band, I feel we became a better band too. I feel he's. Luckily, there was a short period where we had a kid named Tristan in the band, and he wasn't the greatest drummer. He had a lot of heart, and when we wrote the Stronghold, a lot of the drum beats are pretty simple, But I think that's because we were utilizing him the best we could and trying to keep things in a thing where we knew he could do what he was doing. Because when we hit the studio, we didn't want to do a lot of tip-tap. We were just blutta,
Which, there's nothing wrong with it. Simplicity.
No. I love simplicity. And it was funny because when Dave came in to do the Stronghold, is after Tristan left the band, and we're like, well, if you want to learn these songs, we can record them with you. Mm-hmm. And Dave's like, I want to do this for a while. I love these songs. He's like, I have ideas for drums on this. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Play the drums the way they are. Yeah. We love and Dave's like, what? And Dave's like, so he's like, all right, man. And he's playing them. And he luckily he had his fill, but it took a little while for him to get used to. And then towards the end, he's like, "I'm so glad we just kept the drum beats the way they were." I like he understood it. I think he understood the album more as we worked on it.
And it's like anybody in the band, your job is not to be the standout. Your job is to serve the song.
Right. And everyone, like, and even with us, I think we try to, like on the next album, I think we're doing a lot of harmonies. So I'm still the lead singer, but I feel like a lot of them, like I would say there's at least a handful of songs that it's me and Mikey like doing dual, like,
I like that.
Like hopefully they won't sound like
keys, like 1,000 keys.
Like that, yeah, more of that stuff going on. But like even somewhere there's the whole song, like where he's just singing every word with me, and
cool.
And I'm pretty excited about that too.
That's awesome.
Like,
when we were demoing, like any of the songs, not the ones that we just did because I haven't heard them back yet.
Yeah.
But the ones that we did in this basement before we went there, all my notes were simplify that, he cut out that fill. Like it's almost like I'm trying too hard. And when because you want to do a good job,
right? And
you want it to be cool. You want to like make things bigger than what they really are. But when you hear it, and who pointed this out to me is Sean. Sean would play. I would stop by his garage or something.
Yeah.
We'd take a motorcycle ride or something like that. And he'd be in the middle of editing something, and I'm like, wow, it sounds pretty good. He goes, it sounds like shit. What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. It sounds great. And he's like, okay, I'm going to play with the metronome. And this guy's doing a very challenging fill, or challenging almost like a drum solo almost.
Right.
And he goes, he's hitting the drums too fucking much. Now listen to this. And he puts the metronome on, the click to it, and it's light years off.
Right.
And I was like, ow. And he's like, yeah, he hits the fucking drums too much. And I was like, wow, you can do that. Now there are guys, the Travis Barkers, the Josh Freezes, the Neil Pearts, like the Brooks Wackerman, like those guys. They'll do a regular beat, but they'll like, instead of hitting the drums more, they'll do like a little hi-hat and splash, or fucking like they'll do like other shit.
Even Travis Barker, I wouldn't want him in Cryptkeeper. I don't think he would work. It's like there's certain drummers that I love watching play, like, but I think I like watching him play when he's doing by himself more.
Well, yeah.
Than when he's playing with the band, because I feel like even when he's playing with the band, I think there's just like an onion thing, or not. What is it? The thing?
Hard Times.
Hard Times, where they say the band was like, Jesus Christ, can't you just play a fucking 4/4 song? But and it just made me laugh because
he's always got to stand out. But think about it. He's the most popular guy in any of the bands he plays.
Yeah, he is. He is. My favorite modern drummer is Adam Willard.
Yeah. He's
a fucking monster.
And he's solid, and he doesn't overplay. He's great. Josh Freeze is always my guy.
Yeah, I like him too, but like for some reason when I saw, I've been seeing Adam play since he was in fucking Rocket from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And then now with Against Me, I just love watching him play, man, dude.
Against Me's fucking awesome.
The energy he brings, he's just And I love watching him play.
I like their old drummer though too.
I do too.
He played like dance beats.
Yeah, he did play dance beats. Yeah. I love Against Me. But there's just something about the way he plays, man. And we met him for a few seconds when we were down at Fest. Right? Yeah. And I met Adam Willard a long time ago when he was in Rock from Crypt, like probably like the late '90s. We met him. We met Rock from Crypt a few times.
They're a big influence on Cryptkeeper, right?
Huge, yeah. They're the band that made us want to do more stuff like a little more calm response to our vocals, and
cool.
Get in the mood and stuff like that. Hey, like the big vocals, like even like the end of end of Death Man Deadweight, all that big stuff was them.
Dude, okay. Can I tell you that song is one of the, I think, the coolest It's one of my favorite Cryptkeeper songs, but it's also one of the coolest song transitions.
Oh, the weird
ever.
thing.
Ever.
Yeah. I like that.
Like the whole build up to it, and there's the like what the fuck? Where'd you come up with that?
I think we stole. Well, we did the little thing where it goes up into the big thing, and then when we come back in, I think it's. I think we stole like some of the fills from the Dark Side.
The Dark Side?
On the Dark Side by Eddie and the Cruisers.
No, I don't know.
Dark Side's coming down, nothing is real.
I probably do, but...
Yeah, it's a song. It was a movie called Eddie and the Cruisers.
Okay.
Which is one of the things that made me want to play music. If I didn't see Eddie and the Cruisers and The Outsiders when I was like eight years old, yeah. I would have never gotten into music or the greasy hair and stuff like that. But yeah, so we stole that. It's like a weird. I'll have to play it for you after with them. But yeah, a lot of our shit's like influenced by like that stuff, like that. Rocky Horror Picture Show influenced a lot of the weird things we do. I love all the music from that. Like
yeah, the music's from it's good. I was never like a fan of the actual Rocky Horror, like the movie,
right?
Or I never see it in the play.
Yeah.
But, the music is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I always liked the movie. I was young when I first saw the movie. I think Cinemax had something called like Vanguard Cinema or something. They played like movies late at night, and I remember watching that when I was like young, and I remember just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it just made me laugh so hard. It's what made me like Tim Curry.
Well, and it's a movie about relationships.
Right, it's a movie about who? Jimmy. I don't think it's a movie about relationships. Like about that, it's a movie about relationships.
Yeah.
But so I consider ourselves pretty lucky because Brian, I feel, is pretty great, and I think he's changed the band for the better.
Yeah, Sean changed my drumming.
I'll go back to Sean. Yeah, Sean has changed our band. Some of the things he has explained to me as we're talking, and some of the things he'll show me, like the waves on this and that, and I think has changed my playing a little bit. Like it's simplified what I do a little more. It's he's explained to me like the how energy works and stuff, and so it's. I think I've simplified things because I feel it has made our like stuff a little more energetic in a weird way, like where it's a little more toned down but a little more energy going on, and I feel he's done a lot. Sean's done a lot for us.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But when we first recorded with him, when Mike and Paul were in the band. I spent like $800 on drum edits because I never played to a metronome before. Right. Yeah. And it really exposed how bad I was.
It's hard.
I had no idea how bad because people will tell you you're good.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're good. And like you believe it. And it's like, well, when you're really put to a test in the studio under the microscope.
Being in the studio is intimidating by itself. Like for me, there's nothing worse than doing a vocal track. And I'm standing there, and I'm in a fishbowl because you got that little glass plate, and I sing something, and then I look in, and I can't hear anything because I'm just see them talking, and they're doing little hand gestures, and they're doing the come on, let's do this, or talk. I'm like, guys, was that good? And they're like talking, and I see them like arguing, and I'm like. Guys, was it okay? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Like, oh, sorry, we were just talking about the baseball game. I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, they're arguing about someone. I'm like, I think they're yelling about something I just sang.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, it was great. We're going on next. I'm like, all right, so being in that room, is intimidating. It's intimidating. The last album, Dave just went in and just played. He just plays.
Yeah, he doesn't need a metronome.
Well, no, he has a metronome, but he goes in without the band.
Oh, I do too. That's how I do. That's the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
Sean did that for us.
Yeah.
He said to me, he goes, "You're an emotional drummer, and when you start hearing guitars is when you speed up."
Yep.
And that's what happens.
Yep.
But when we were just demoing, I think I might be okay now to like because I regularly practice with a metronome now.
Right, and you can't help but get better. Like playing with a band as much as you played with a band. Like if you're not getting better, then there's something there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Like and like your band like that's the one thing about a band that's playing a lot and you guys play so much that if you don't like Cryptkeeper practice twice a week and most times we play twice a week. So like we're playing 4 times a week. Like I never understood bands that said they didn't like practicing. Like
well I had a fucking cock slap of reality when I watched this one YouTube video because YouTube it didn't exist when I was learning
when we were
drums.
younger. Yeah,
I literally my first drum kit was like it was a snare, a kick, a rack tom, and 1 crash.
Right.
That's how I learned. And I, basic stuff, but I played my balls off.
Right.
And then the next Christmas, because my mom didn't want to invest in
right,
it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
In case I just got bored. But I was into it. And she got me a real kit, a 5-piece, with 2 crash, a ride, and a hi-hat. And that's when I really started picking up. But you develop bad habits over that time.
Right.
And I used to smoke a lot of weed, and I would just smoke, get high with my buddies, and I'd come home. And like I said, I wasn't doing any homework or anything.
Right.
I would just play for hours, but I would jam. And like how I learned was like I had this shitty little boombox, and I would put it right next to me, and I'd start like Dookie, the record. And before that was the Black Album, something slower that I could figure out. But then it progressed, and I thought that was practicing.
Right. Yeah.
But that's jamming.
That's jamming.
Practicing is rudiments.
And
shit shit that nobody wants to do.
Yeah, because it's boring.
It's boring and it exposes how bad you are.
Right.
And it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So the I learned from a YouTube video because I only for a while I was living in an apartment. I learned guitar and I'm okay. Like I'm not. I shouldn't even say I'm okay. I'm not good at guitar. I know how to play chords and stuff like that, but I couldn't play live. Ever,
right.
Especially in singing. And I went back when I was in the house. I set up the drum kit again, and after years of not playing, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, all right, I'm back into it." And then I was like, "Fuck, let's put on some YouTube lessons and stuff." And the guy was like, "Are you practicing or are you jamming? Because there's 2 different things."
Right, yeah.
So practicing, I learned, especially after recording with Sean, to put I got the noise canceling headphones and downloaded a metronome app on the phone. Everything. That's a great thing about today is
everything's there. Yeah,
and I like when we were going to record the Illusion and Shoes EP with Pete Steinkoff, and I grew up listening to Bouncing Souls.
Sure.
I want to make a good impression.
Right.
And I had already recorded twice with Sean. The second time, Sean was like, "Dude, you've obviously been working hard because when you came in here last time, you were a totally different type of drummer." And I did everything in like relatively like 1 take, pretty much. Then record Pete, I was like, I really gotta make it. Dude, I fucking did like 5 songs in 2 hours, which I guess is not normal. Like, it usually takes longer, but only because I trained like my life depended on it.
Right, yeah.
You put in the effort.
And and same thing like like you said, I just never like even like rehearsing with a band, like there's practicing, which you do by yourself in your home, and bands that like I hate rehearsing. I'm like, why? Like that's where you like for me like I love it when Cryptkeeper take a song we haven't played in a while and we relearn it and I can't remember what the fuck I played on it originally.
You guys have an extensive library.
Yeah, we got a big so we end up changing it or we end up like let's change it a little bit or let Brian just don't just learn the song but
David Jones.
Yeah, David Jones.
David Jones, that's totally different.
I think it's way better live. I like the weird thing we do.
I like it, but I still like the
I like the original.
Yeah. But I like. I'm so used to it the way you guys are doing it now that I expect it. But when I first heard it, I was like, "Why aren't they just playing it?" I was like, "That's a fan."
There's a we even have another version we did with John Bailey before we went into Sean's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, we recorded the whole album at Bailey's.
Yes,
We did like a live again, and then we did
mixed it.
No, we did Darker, or we did the Unbeatable Cry. We went in and did a live version of it at Bailey's that I have at home. It's just us live playing all the songs, and then we just did it so we could hear them, like what we're doing pretty much next month with Sean.
Oh, demoing.
Yeah, we demoed it,
Okay,
but it's funny because some of the songs we'll probably end up releasing some of it because some of it's like pretty good, but even
it's cool the evolution of the songs.
Yeah, like some of them, like the lyrics are totally different, like how you
taught me that.
Yeah,
you taught me that when I was asking you one time about like your songwriting and stuff. You say, well, I'll start writing a song. It'll be about this,
and then I change it,
and I'll change it just to make it a little bit more vague because like too on the nose about somebody I know or something like that. Yeah,
I try to do that now too. Also with like a lot of the songs on the Stronghold were I would write them about, say, like me and my sister's relationship, and then a few months later I would change it to be about me and my wife's relationship, and then and then my friends would have, my friend's band would break up, and I would write the last verse about about like the good of breaking up as a band. Like, cause breaking up as a band, if you're in a toxic relationship, breaking up is a good thing to do. Like,
sure.
So I wrote about that. We got. Like this, Mad Dog 2020 was originally about me and my sister, and then it was about me and my wife, and then the last verse is about a band breaking up, and how it's kind of good. You can see some bright sides to breaking up as a band. We just never been so bad as a band. Like, we've always gotten along for the most part. Like,
yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah, I mean, we've also gone through 27 members, so
Yeah, but the core.
Yeah, the core. Me and Jimmy, and but we stayed together for a long period of time. When we were a 7-piece band. We were a 7-piece band for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And I think Mikey's been in the band for quite some time. Brian's been in the band for at least 4 years, I think. So I think. Well, wait.
He was new when we were playing in Too Far Gone. He was new to you.
Right. He joined right after we did the drums for Stronghold. So Stronghold we put out in 2016, right? Yeah.
It's 2 years ago.
So 16.
Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, almost. Well, October.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah, 2.5 years ago. So yeah, he's been in the band for about 3 years, I think. But yeah, Mikey's been in the band for even longer. Mikey, because I think we did The Unbeatable Cry, and as we did The Unbeatable Cry, Dave and Kaylee quit.
Why did they quit?
Dave was just time, Kaylee had been with us his entire adult life. I think he wanted to spread his wings and do something. He ended up in a way better place for him. He's a very jazzy player. He likes to, and his band, Chalk and the Beige Americans, he's almost like the front man. Like, it's and he gets to do more of, we're a little more regimented and a little more. We wanted to stick to our sound, and Kaylee gets to do more what he wants. And
understood.
But doesn't. I love playing with him, and if he wanted to come back, I would.
Well, doesn't he still play with you?
He's playing with us Friday night. He's playing with us.
Dude, you know what? I'm so fucking bummed. Every time there's a White Cactus show,
yeah,
I can't go. I got something to do. Like, we're playing with up in North Jersey. And
who you playing with?
Houston and Dirty Rod Stadium.
Their 6-year.
Yeah, they got an anniversary thing, and we're playing. I forget who the other band is, but anyway, we're gonna be up there, and it's like every time we play, and don't get me wrong, I love playing shows.
Sure.
But there's always something cool. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. I just saw. Sloppy Seconds. I've never seen them live. I fucking love that band.
Yeah.
And I've never seen them live. and they're coming around in March, late March. They're going to be playing in Brooklyn. We're going to be in Europe.
Oh,
I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yep.
Instead, I should be happy that I'm on tour.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fucker? Like,
that sucks. It sucks sometimes when you see a band or you're playing a night,
Because I don't think I'm ever going to get a chance to see them because they're older.
They're older. We threw a show, a Halloween show. We used to throw the Festival of the Dead shows. It was probably one of the bigger ones we ever thrown.
Yeah.
It was on the same night that Rocket from Crypt had their farewell show.
Oh, fuck.
And it was in New York, so we could have gone if we wanted.
Yeah.
But we couldn't. We already had our show booked and everything when I found out. So I'm like, fuck me.
Yeah.
But, well, sometimes you just miss out on the...
It's a pros and cons, man. It's like you made the choice to play in a band. Like,
right.
You gotta play shows.
And it's not good. For me, like, if someone tells me, hey, John, don't book this night, I have tickets for a show, that's fine. It's fine with me.
They told you in advance.
Right, but if we already have a show, we try not... We've canceled maybe 10 shows in like 22 years. That's like, one every 2 years. I
can't remember us ever. Oh, we canceled the one because we found out the dude was like a pedophile.
Yeah.
And, first of all, I think no matter where you are in the world, in a first world society, everybody can agree on that pedophiles
aren't cool.
They just need to get shot in the fucking head.
They're not cool.
I don't think there's any way of coming back from that. If you're caught in the act.
Sure.
If you're just accused of it, it's like, okay, maybe just give him some jail time or something like that if he's convicted. But if you're caught in the act, you need to go.
Yeah,
there's no fixing that.
Yeah, I mean...
So we canceled that show.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Well, it's a good thing to cancel. I think we've canceled shows for, death in the families and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Got that off of their head shit.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Fucked up, man.
Yeah.
I would feel so bad, accidentally hurting somebody. And it wasn't even their fault.
No, it wasn't,
I mean, at least according to the article.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer because I missed them. They were supposed to play at Fest. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to see them we were in San Francisco. They were going to be playing Rock the Ship.
Oh.
And that was where they were coming from, that side of Canada. They were coming down the West Coast.
And they hit a lady, right?
So my understanding of the article was they travel with a van and a trailer. And the lady, she was, instead of going through the crosswalk in front of the cars, the light was changed, so she was trying to go, or she was just drinking or something. I don't know. Like I said, I just read the article and this is my interpretation of it. But she tried going in between the trailer and the van.
That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of.
And the light changed, and they just went, and they didn't. How are they to know? And it's a shame. But yeah. Fucking
idiotic. There's a kid that when I used to deliver papers to him, I guess he had a little girl. She was in high school, but she was one of them short little girls. And he drove a Bronco, a tall Bronco, one of the ones on big. And she was walking in front of his car when the light turned green, and he didn't see her in front of his car. Jesus. So he drove, and I guess she fell under his car. And she got drugged down the street, and he ended up dragging her until she died under his car.
That's what happened to this girl.
Yeah,
only she lived.
Oh, did she live?
Yeah, they dragged her for blocks, and her face was all mangled and shit, basically off of her body, and it's fucked up. But that's a good reason to cancel a tour.
It's totally a good reason. I mean, and whoever was driving is most likely going to be...
man.
He's probably going to be fucked up for quite some time.
Well, that's what it is you don't think you're putting people... you think this is just a convenience for me.
Yeah.
I'm not affecting anybody. No, do you think that guy wants to hurt anybody?
No.
Now he knows he did, and he not only hurt you, but he... no, I don't want to say he fucked up the tour, because he didn't. But he affected...
Yeah.
And he didn't even really affect it. The fucking girl did.
The girl, yeah.
She got hurt, so she's off the hook.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Oh man, that sucks.
A fucking weird one.
Ugh.
I mean, I don't see. us. I hope we don't cancel anything. But I think about this, like my grandfather is basically like my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was a deadbeat, so like my grandfather was like the father figure.
Yeah.
And he's like 90. He's gonna be 93 in February. So like I always think like, what if I'm like overseas or something like that, or on the other, like obviously if I'm like I'll have to get a plane ticket home, but I don't want to fuck up the tour. Like I think about things like that.
Yeah, you got to think about that, but you also got to think that like life is too short to regret something like that.
Well, that dude, I started my business in 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And he, from nothing, he lent me $5,000 for a shitty van that I bought with the $5,000, and then I paid him back like later that year. And I put a lot of energy and sacrificed a lot of relationships for my business.
Right.
So then when it came like where we found a group of people that were all on the same page of like touring and investing into the band and stuff like that, like we should go for it type thing. I was reluctant because I always said, like, I played in a cover band and we played Wagon and stuff, and I always said to like people, I was like, I'll never be able to tour, but like it's fun to do. Right. And until you're put in a position where it's like everybody's on the same page. I asked everybody because I was like, you guys might have to get a touring drummer. So I asked my buddy Doug, who encouraged me to start my own business because I never had aspirations of working for myself. Right. And I asked a bunch of people that I respect. My mom was the only person that said, don't do it, because she's your mom. Nancy.
And she also wants you to, because it's scary. It's scary. It is scary. But
she's a dream killer anyway.
Yeah.
So what type of person she is. But everybody else said, dude, go for it. Like, you can always, because I knew my business was going to suffer drastically. And I decided, you know what? You only live once.
You only live once.
And I don't want to regret things that because I was afraid. Like, it's one thing to regret things that like you you need, like, I'd rather beg for forgiveness than ask for permission type thing. Right. Like I'd rather regret things like I wish I didn't say that. I wish I didn't, things like that, rather than I wish I wasn't too scared to try.
Well, there's a Butthole Surfer song that I used to listen to all the time when I was a kid. And in the beginning, the kid goes, "Father, well, what is regret?" And the father says, "Well, son, the funny thing about regret is it's better to regret something you did do than to regret something you didn't do." Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, you already know you can do the business. If you left it and you came back 5 years from now, you already know how to do it again.
Yeah, but would I want to?
Would you want to?
I know what it takes.
Right, you know what it takes, but
fucking hard.
But also, if you did decide to come back to it, like if you guys decided to call it quits on Doc Rotten and like at least you could say you did everything you did with the Doc Rotten while you were in Doc Rotten. Mm-hmm. You can look back at that and say, shit, I did more with Doc Rotten than most bands ever do. Yeah. And that's the thing, like you can't take everything with you,
Mm-hmm. Take nothing with you.
Dude, when you are on your deathbed and they say, life flashes before your eyes.
I wish I fucked more.
But do you want your whole life to be fucking HVAC flashing before your eyes, or do you want fucking Thailand and this and that and playing in bands? And
there's nothing more depressing than getting off a tour and working on HVAC systems.
Sure, there's nothing.
I was in somebody's attic when we got back from the first Japan to Europe thing, and I was in somebody's attic. Because before that, I never had the post-tour blues that everybody always talks about. I didn't understand what that meant. Because Andrew would get it, Wes would get it. Like, I was like, dude, I got work, man. Like, I got to fucking make some money pay for bills and shit. And that would just be my focus. Dude, I was in somebody's attic one time, and right after the tour, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? This fucking sucks.
But every band, you got to have a job. Unless you're making money, you got to have something you do when you come home.
Yes.
Like you got to be able, you got a house. You want to pay for shit. Like you can't just have a house and
let it go to waste.
And especially if you want to have something and that's the thing that we both have. I don't know. It sucks. Having to go back to work when you come home, but I would rather do that than not have anything to come back to. I'd rather.
A really good way to look at it.
And I hate my job, but there are a lot of people that hate their jobs. People hate their jobs all day long. People. At least you have a passion that you can take that. Doc Rotten's your main thing. But what you do on the side is what makes Doc Rotten possible.
Exactly.
And what makes, doing the HVAC or me working for Sherwin-Williams, it's what makes it palatable, Otherwise, now you know what you know, if this was all you did, you probably would just fucking hate life.
Well, I don't know. I never had... That's the thing, dude. I was never a big dreamer.
Right.
I never thought... I didn't apply myself in school.
Right.
I never thought to go places. I was a drunk, and I never thought about it. I never even had aspirations of being in business. But people talked me into it. They were like, "You should try it. You'd be good. Do it."
Yeah, but being in a band's different. That's
Well, now that I know it, I absolutely am glad that I took the advice of people that cared enough about me to see me try.
Right. Yep.
And I fucking didn't listen to my mom, and I fucking showed her. My mom's actually really supportive, but her first reaction is motherly, is out of fear.
Well, it's I'm sure if my son came to me and told me he wanted to play in a punk rock band, I would probably tell him not to.
Do you want to have kids?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm gonna do all that up.
Part of me would like to, but the other part of me is I don't want to.
Yeah, I think I want to.
Yeah, I have 4 dogs, and they're the love and joy of my life, but also the bane of my existence at the same time, because I can't do anything without having to worry about idiots being taken care of. But I love the shit out of them.
Yeah, I haven't had a dog in a while. I have cats now, unfortunately. I like my cats. I mean, unfortunately, I don't have a dog.
Oh, okay.
I think I would much rather have a dog, but
I'm just allergic to cats. I like cats.
I'm allergic to cats too.
Oh, yeah. How do you do that?
I just Zyrtec and don't let them
deal with it.
I don't let them. If they lick or if they scratch me, when I'm playing with them,
you break out.
I get the itches. I gotta fucking. But for the most part, I can deal.
But it's nice to come home to the pets.
Sure. Yeah.
I we were just gone for 5 days, and I got the two mastiffs and the 2 little terriers, and one of the 2 mastiffs is super sweet and affectionate all the time. The other one, he's the alpha,
right,
and he still has his balls too,
right.
So he loves Amanda and would do anything for her. And he loves me too, but he respects me.
Right.
It's more make sure I'm doing the right thing. And sometimes he'll be lovey-dovey and mushy, but every time I'm gone for a little bit and he's super, I can tell he really loves me. He's just acting like a tough guy.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that. That's the best thing, is to come home to that.
Got a dog that's just you're back, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But listen, I think we should do this again.
I definitely think we should.
I would like to talk to all the guys too separately, because like I was telling you, we did it before, and we did it with groups of people.
Right.
I like it because I like hanging out with a bunch of dudes.
Sure. Yeah.
But what I found was a lot of people talk over each other. Yep,
and a lot of people also. The problem with Cryptkeeper is when we're doing interviews. If you watch any interviews we've done, I will not say anything, and I'll be like waiting for someone to say something because I don't want to talk over anyone.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, Jim, Brian, like, and then finally I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna fucking talk, like, But I like, that's the type of band I'm always trying to like let people talk, because I never wanted to be in a band like that was like about the singer. Mm-hmm. Like, like when the Beatles and you got U2 and you got like the Ramones and yes, the singers are, but the whole band is important. When you see a Ramones insignia and it's every name around it, and you think, oh, the Beatles, or you think, U2 maybe not as much. You always think about the two top guys, like, and the other two guys are kind of like, they're kind of almost like, they're like kind of the same, but yeah. I always wanted a band that was more about the band. Like, it's important. Cool. It's important.
That's fucking rad, man. Like the Descendants. I didn't know Bill Stevenson wrote all those songs, until Filmage came out, and but it's always been Milo.
It's always been Milo, and that's the thing, and it's got to suck for. The other guys, like, what do you like? Not what I do. Is it not important as as what the singer does? And like, 'cause the singer's just singing. The songs are rad because the bands are good. Like, like.
Well, we give every writing credit to Doc Rotten.
Right.
It's not. AJ wrote Sick and Suffering. Wes wrote Last Chance. Andy K just wrote this fucking awesome song, dude. I'm so excited to play it live. It's my new favorite song that we have.
Awesome.
I'm so excited, and he wrote it, and it's about him falling in love with this chick in a psych ward. Nice. Like, it's so fucking cool.
That's awesome.
And but like, it's Doc Rotten.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, he directed us on how to play. Like, I always ask, like, how do you want the drums to go? Like, what are you thinking here? What do you like? Because it's not like might serve the song.
Yeah, we usually write down. We will put down who wrote the song lyrically, like lyrics by Johnny and music by the Cryptkeeper Five, because because technically I write the songs and bring them, but like, what happens between that is what makes the songs as good as they are. Like, and I find them, that's why I feel like, it's important. Bands are important, You can't just leave your band.
It takes a village, man.
None of the Beatles were as good by themselves as they were when they were together.
Exactly.
Paul McCartney is as great as I think he is, and, John Lennon, by themselves, they were putting out kind of bullshit. Like, compared to...
It wasn't nearly as good as the magic that they had.
And, the Beatles. And that's the thing, you just...
And those fucking Rolling Stones just kept going.
The Rolling Stones, yeah, they're pretty great.
I can't believe they're still going.
I love the Rolling Stones. I can't remember what their last album was. Was it Bigger Bang?
The very last one?
The last one that they put out that was like all originals. Like,
I wouldn't. Here, let's see here. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. In the artists, their sympathy for the essential albums. No, I want last albums. Blue and Lonesome, but that might not be. No, this is a tribute. So yeah, Bigger Bang, 2005.
Yeah, album's awesome. I listen to it all
for
the
older
time.
Guys, yeah.
I listen to it all the time. Like, to me, it sounds like a young band playing. Like,
he still has like a young guy's energy.
He does, and the band is. I don't know. I'm sure it isn't Watts on drums on Bigger Bang, because that's just a. It might be him. I don't know.
I don't know. That when you're that big of a band, you can get different people on different songs.
Yeah.
On one record. It's crazy. But yeah, man, I hope we do this again.
We did. We definitely should. I'm sorry it took so long to get out here. It's just hectic.
You're fine, dude.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Later,
awesome.
buddy.
See you, bud.
Okay, that was Johnny Ott, and he's fucking awesome. I learned something about these microphones that I'm using for the podcast. I'm using these, I don't even know what they're called, but they clip onto your shirt the way you would see like a fucking morning news show, like Good Morning America or some shit like that. They clip onto your shirt, and one of them is louder. There's a splicing port where one is just like the microphone built into the device, and then there's one other, I guess you would call it a inlet that you would an outlet that you plug in a new microphone into, and I'm using the other mic, so I'm louder, so the guest is heard clearer. Plus, I can be loud at times, and my voice is annoying enough. But I'm gonna try to get a new microphone set up too. We had one when we did the old podcast, and I'm probably gonna need some help with that. But anyway, Johnny Ott's the fucking man. Check out the Cryptkeeper 5. They got a new record coming out. Stronghold's out now. They're fucking awesome. I love Johnny, and I love the band. So, and I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for next week. Later.